Hello.
All right, hold on.
Here, let me do this. I'll do this and put the thing so it's not hanging. Hold on. Is that better?
Yeah, everything's good.
Perfect.
Man, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Are you
Is
in
that a good
Camarillo?
background and everything?
Yeah. Are you in Camarillo right now?
No, I'm at my Harry Gregson Williams's house. He's a film composer that I do sessions for.
Oh, nice.
So that's why I was working with him earlier. So I'm still at his house, and I told him I had to do an interview. So
If you need to take some time, we can.
no, we're ready.
Big deal.
No, we're ready to go.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Cool.
I just want to thank you. You are one of the people that I have met and followed in my life. That, like, I wrote it down right here. I said, there is there's something about you that I feel peace. There's some sort of energy that I don't encounter very frequently, and I love it. And there's like, I love watching you on IG. I love talking to you. There's some sort of peace with you that I envy and I want for myself.
Oh, that's too kind. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. What do you think that is? That peace that you bring, or that energy that you bring?
The Holy Spirit. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not a preacher or anything, but excuse me.
Are you Catholic?
I was born and raised Catholic, but I like Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. I've had 3 apartments next to Lake Shrine, which is self-realization, and they incorporate all the 5 major religions in one. And so at the end of the day, it's, for me, it's honesty. It's one word. If you can make it that simple, it's just being honest. And honesty is how to tune into. It's like a radio station. If you say 1 + 1 is 3, it's gonna go. There's static, So if you have, I believe, like, you have 5 senses, and when you record in your brain with these 5 senses, if I slap somebody, my hand felt it, my ears heard it, my eyes saw it. There was sage burning. I recorded with 5 senses an event, and then we go to court, and I say I wasn't there, and I didn't hit him. Then they start to, your brain starts to go, but we recorded all this stuff. You're lying, and so then you start shorting out, and then you don't have peace, And so I just I try to be honest unless it's going to throw me in jail, and then I'll lie. And but I'm that's basically it. I just try to be honest.
That's awesome, dude. That's
yeah.
Awesome. Well, how did music call you?
Excuse me?
How did music call you?
Oh, well, my father sang and played Sicilian songs, and he wrote like little folk Sicilian music. And it was the happiest time in our family, in our house. He would throw parties every weekend and sing songs like C'è la luna mezzo mare, mamma mia mi mare, these folk songs with silly lyrics about, I'm in love over the moon, I want to get married, just like party songs.
That's
and everybody family. Would dance. Excuse me?
That's my family as well. We're Italian, Amoroso.
Oh, wonderful, Tim. Yeah, so you know the deal. So I just saw it as the happiest times. And so I wanted to do what my dad was having the funnest time doing. So I just want to have fun.
I know.
Yeah.
And so you duplicated that, like, you remembered that part of your life that brought you the most happiness, and you wanted that forever?
Well, I just wanted to learn how to be able to do that, but then I couldn't do what he did because he sings with such a powerful, deep, operatic thing, and I noticed that I had it was easier for me to jam, like put on Led Zeppelin and find notes and express myself fishing, like the Grateful Dead, like Jerry Garcia fishes. So
Hmm.
I was better at singing like that than doing an operatic thing with a guitar. Even though I wanted to do it, it, it it's a lifelong thing to try to be able to do that and good. But I guess I'm okay. I guess I'm okay at fishing on guitar and jamming.
Yeah. And then you guys put together Porno in the 90s. What was the events that led up prior to that?
Well, I was in a surf band called K38 in Santa Monica. I was born and raised in Santa Monica, and we did like surf songs, Hawaii 5-0, Wipeout, um, and I wrote like surf songs, silly surf songs, and we played parties, and we started playing local bars, and I was just doing it for fun, and then I did a demo of a song, and my friend Greg played it for Perry Farrell, and he was like, "Oh, the guitar solos like the Stooges," and I had never heard of the Stooges, but I had a sound like the Stooges and Iggy Pop and the Stooges. So um, they set up a surf trip. We went surfing, and he said, you want to come audition, and so I went and auditioned, and it didn't work out the audition because there was all these players playing really fast like Steve Vai and all that stuff, and I was just hitting one note, trying to make music with it all. And then I packed up because it's ridiculous. I'm not going to try to do a speed competition to impress Perry. It's so then he noticed that, and then him and his girlfriend at the time, Casey, started hanging out with me and stuff like that. And they slowly, and jammed with me and stuff. And then we did a thing where there was a DJ named Skate Master Tate who was playing Riders on the Storm. And so I pulled out my bow and started bowing over Riders on the Storm. And then he wrote a song we called Orgasm. He started singing, and we recorded it like that. And he gave it to Warner Brothers, and they said, there's no way you can write a song over, the Doors' Riders on the Storm. So they said, get rid of the song. And so we got rid of the song, and it was just by itself. And that's how it started. We would write songs over songs. And then I ended up in 2010 getting in a band where we just mashed up entire songs and
Yeah.
released them, Lance Armstrong. But we tried. This was 1992, but Perry was way ahead and thinking, let's just because Tupac and then they were doing samples. They would take a loop of something and write over it and repeat it, and Perry wanted to write songs over whole songs. So I thought that was fantastic. And
That was awesome.
but Warner Brothers was like, you can't, it's illegal, and but now you can do anything. Nobody that cares anymore.
Yeah. Um, when when you guys, so I have two different. I'm not sure. So you know, I heard a story that Pets was written about a girl that you fell in love with.
Yeah.
And then I also heard a story from Perry that says it's about aliens.
Well, Perry wrote the lyrics,
Mhm.
and the song had lyrics. The song was called um, uh, Rihanna Dean, and that was her name. And in Santa Monica, when I was in the seventh grade, we it was we went in elementary. You had one class the whole time, and then when we got into the seventh grade, that's when middle school started in the 70s. And she was in my cooking class, and so we shared a table, and I had the biggest crush on her. And one day she didn't show up, and then we found out that it was a Charles Manson type of murder that happened with her and her brother.
Shit.
It was terrible. She was 12,
So
13.
It was a copycat, and they.
Well, not a copycat, but the kind where her and her brother were, raped and cut up, and the parents came home and found him. And it was on 16th and Carlisle, which is in Santa Monica, very beautiful, classy neighborhood. And so we were all in shock. And so I wrote a song called Rihanna Dean. And it was a picking, like the end of Pets, picking, with me singing about meeting her and all that stuff. And so many years later, when I was jamming with Steven and Perry, it was like I pulled out the riff and was doing it. And then Perry says, "Pick it up." And then I picked it up, and then he wrote the lyrics over that. But they never knew where it came from. And I never said anything until the interview here, where I'm at right now. Just on the other side of this fence is a park where I did the interview.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it was like 6 months ago or 8 months ago or something.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that my guys asked me to ask you. They're like, "Oh, ask them about, because they heard two stories, and that's crazy."
Yeah, and they never talked about it, and then I brought it up there, and now it's out. And Steven and Perry and Martine, they didn't know that the riff was something I wrote when I was 13.
Damn, that is.
Yeah, I just picked up my dad's guitar and did, the picking and the feeling of what I was going through. Because I was, you can't be in love at 13, but I was like puppy, like I was excited to see her every day.
I have my 7th grade crush is Tracy Hick.
Yeah.
You never forget it.
Yeah, so I feel like obviously it'll probably be the biggest thing I ever did that I was a part of that wrote something, because it went to #1. It's hard to get to #1 again. So, and that was in 1993. So I feel like if there is something special, she maybe helped me from the other side
That's awesome.
to get successful on that one. I don't know if I have any other ones coming, but
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, you had a cancer scare. Do you think that cancer saved your life? Because it also it was
no. I feel like, because even though I had the cancer, I was just going to go out like a rocket. Like there was no, I was just gonna, and Perry said to me when we were in New Jersey, and we were going to play Stone Pony, and in New Jersey, and he goes, "Peter, you're just gonna go out until you die." I go, "Hell yeah." He goes, "Okay, I'll do it with you," and so we just started going, and then I had an out-of-body white light experience. Now, I don't know if it was real or not, but it changed the direction of stuff. And
what happened in that out-of-body experience? Like, what was the thoughts?
What happened was I was in my 8th drug rehab, and this kid from Texas was in the rehab too, and he sat down to have breakfast with me, and he goes, "My parents hate you." And I go, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "My favorite song is Blood Rag, and it's a Porno for Pyros song." And he then put the note on the table while he was eating, and a letter, and then he got up and left. And I opened the letter to read it, and it was a suicide note. And he said that he was gonna open his veins up in my bed, in my rehab bed. And so he went into my room to commit suicide. And I got up and screamed, and the nurses all chased me and went to the room, and they grabbed him, and he was screaming like a demon when they pulled him away. And I fell on the floor and I had a nervous breakdown. And that's when I looked up and I said, "God, if you exist, let me have an honorable death, because I'm dying here. Let me jump in front of a bus and save a baby, and because I don't want to die like this with no honor. I want, and then I got sucked out of my body, and I was in space, and it was like a camera shutter opening and closing like old cameras.
Yeah.
And I went into the shutter and I could see all the way around 360 perceive. And it said, go to Alcoholics Anonymous, 100, God came through 100 people and they wrote this book. Marry the woman that had your child. And all in instinct, it told me to do that. And then, you know, I kept going in and out of my body and seeing my body. And then for 3 days, I stayed up straight and I saw ghosts everywhere in the rehab. And there were spirits burning with desire, like there were addicts that left their body, you know, that didn't get to come clean, you know, and so they were addicted still. And so then I was like, that's burning in hell, when you're burning with a desire and you don't have a body to quench your desire. And so they were trying to get into other bodies to get them to leave the rehab and I was telling the psychiatrist this, and they said, just keep your mouth shut. They'll never let you out. But it's that makes people get sober. The ones that get sober have this thing. I said, okay. So then that was it. It was all lifted. I've been sober over 23 years. I did what the instinct told me to do, and it's been the easiest thing I've ever done, is to get off of heroin and psych meds and 2 packs of Marlboro Reds a day and alcohol. You know, it was a full, you know, the cancer. I mean, so I believe it's the Holy Spirit's gift. You know, I was gifted to do something more, you know, and maybe this is the graduation of it, is to talk about this on your show, you know. So
beautiful, man.
Yeah, so the show before was about Rihanna Dean and making a hit, and this is actually about that I'm 25 years past due. I should have died 25 years ago from heroin addiction, horrible heroin and crack addiction, and cancer. So I look better now than I did 25 years ago, because the Holy Spirit is gifting me, not because of anything. And I still have work to do.
When you were working with Scott Weiland,
Mm-hmm.
were you sober at that time?
Yeah, that's when we all got sober together.
Okay.
And same rehabs and everything. And then he wanted to keep doing it, which I respect. Just because I'm doing this, I totally for drugs and drinking, you know, out partying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being a race car driver. I'm totally for race car driving. I was just a race car driver that kept smashing into the wall and flipping his car and going to the hospital and you know, getting repaired and then going back out. Like I went to the, you know, 8 rehabs. It's like 8 crashes as a race car driver. I was no longer a talented race car driver. And so I'm just lucky that I didn't die in any of the crashes. And I look at people that still want to shoot heroin or still party or still be creative like that as race car drivers, that, you know, if you can die doing it, you know, or a giant big wave surfer, you know, you can die doing it, you know. And so I don't judge it. I hit the wall constantly. You know, I'm not good at it anymore. So I had to cut it loose, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it wasn't me like, I'm going to cut it loose. It was a gift from a higher power that gave me the gift. It removed the obsession, and I have to take actions to remain tuned in, which is called honesty. And I'm being honest with you here. And that's the piece that you feel from me, is that I'm just trying to keep it real, unless it's going to injure somebody or myself or put somebody in jail.
God damn. That's awesome.
So in other words, like if we were doing this and I was watching you do a bunch of coke, and then the cops ran in and they go, was Tim doing cocaine? I would say, no, he wasn't, because I don't want you to go in jail. So I will lie to protect people. But in general, if I can just roll without lying, I'm at total peace, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Scott Weiland, he was one of the people that really inspired me when I was younger.
He's fantastic.
The timeline, I was like, oh, I was wondering if it was hard for you, because he was always off and on. I never really knew when he was on or off, and
No,
so
I looked at him like we would do these things called detox buff and shines, and he would just do detox buff and shines, and he was a race car driver. I got into music to be bad, and I got that from Scott Weiland. That's Scott Weiland's quote. I got into the music business to be bad. He wanted to be a bad boy. It's a way to live like an outlaw and get paid for it and get cheered and stuff like that. And so he was just doing what we all did, and he crashed, and they didn't find him in time and revive him. And that's all I look at it like. He's no different than Keith Richards, or
yeah,
Keith Richards just has been able to be revived, found, blood transfusion, whatever. I don't know his story. I don't know him. But I just feel like, the ones that have passed away from overdoses, Shannon, who and stuff, they just weren't found. I was found so many times. I've died on a toilet like Elvis, and a lifeguard found me and revived me and breathed me to life, and I've overdosed all over the place. I just got found. And the ones who didn't get, weren't found, unfortunately passed away. So it's not like I got the sobriety thing better than anybody. It's just that, again, it was a gift, and it was my destiny to do where I'm at right now. And it's other people's destinies to, it's Jimi Hendrix's destiny to pass on at 27. And, the work that he did was enough. It's a lifetime of art for us to enjoy.
wow. Um, how do you practice your spirituality? Like, how do you make yourself sharp in a spiritual manner?
Well, I lie every day. Every day I just immediately will exaggerate, do this, lie to myself, think I'm, and so honesty. It's that simple.
Yeah.
The way my Holy Spirit works is, it's not about being good, it's about being honest. So if I want to kill somebody and I go, I'm going to kill that motherfucker, he raped my kid. And so I go and shoot somebody and kill, and then I call the police and I go, I killed this guy, come get me. And then I can stay sober in jail because I was honest. Yeah, I'm going to do 25 to life, but there's something different than if you do something and you lie about it. You keep lying and having fraud, it all eventually it all comes out, even if it's not in this lifetime. As a spirit, when you pass on, I believe that you're a ghost, and if you got those lies and you don't clean them up, they still go. So it's like if I'm in court and I slapped somebody, and and I'm lying and I've recorded all this stuff, what happens? You start shorting out. You start and you start killing yourself. You're at war within yourself because you're a liar. And everything that you've recorded, captured with 5 senses, an experience that you're lying about. It was fraud. It wasn't and then pretty soon the sickness goes within yourself and everything around you. And so I don't want to be sick anymore. So, if I lost, I lost. If I win, I win. The key to my spirituality is don't lie. Just be honest. That's why I don't dye my hair or my beard. I don't want to make you think I'm 32. I'm 55, and I've been through the ringer. My teeth are yellow because I'm worked. I don't want to trick somebody anymore. For me, I would if I could. Trust me, if I could lie, steal, and cheat, I would do that. I would be the biggest liar, stealing, cheating guy. But what happens is I end up, I just destroy myself. It's an internal war. So when you your five senses record something and you go, yeah, that happened, then there's peace. And then the sixth sense, which is the Holy Spirit, the mojo, God, whatever you want to call it, respects you. And so you get gifted with peace. Does that make sense, or am I crazy?
That's how I'm gonna try this for my rest of my
Yeah.
life. Because I noticed
Oh,
when I tell stories, I'm a storyteller, right? I
uh-huh.
embellish and exaggerate certain stories, and I see other people and I want that peace, but I just never asked about it. And by asking you, I think it's beautiful, and I want to try that. So
Oh, thanks,
try that,
Tim.
man. So I appreciate you.
Cool.
Do you believe that there is life after death?
Well, I mean, I hope so. I used to read books like Many Lives, Many Masters, and did all this thing. But then when my dad died, the thought of him being a pit bull reincarnated, barking on a roof in South Central LA while I'm sitting here crying for him and missing him, and he's been reincarnated to something he has no idea what. I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to think that. I just do what I think is comfortable, and I want to feel like he's, yeah, that we become ghosts after this, and there's a spirit, and those spirits move on to a better place, hopefully, or I'm ready to face my creator, and because it's like if it all comes out, there's no big hidden secret. I serve. I'm for alcohol and drugs. I don't want anyone to go to jail, so hopefully if they're doing illegal drugs that they're smart about it. I'm sober 23 years, not because I judge drugs or anything, but because I kept wiping out and dying. And so the Holy Spirit gifted me with the obsession being lifted. And the obsession is, there's me, and then there's this obsession, and then there's the one who has all power. And the obsession, and the devil, the disease, outcome, whatever you want to call it, is stronger than you. So by loving it, and the only protection you can get is the one who has all power. And so the one who has all power protects you from your bully brother, and you still love each other, but he's got to pick on other people because you're protected by the one who has all power. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you respect it, and you're cool with it, and you work with it, and you hang with it and everything. You just, like, when a desire comes up, like, oh, I've never tried lemon flavored vodka. They didn't make that, or ecstasy, or, well, no, I had ecstasy, whatever, just newer drugs. And I say, thank you for sharing, but no thanks to the power,
Okay.
the disease, the alcoholism, whatever you want to call it.
So, when was the last time that you were inspired, and by what?
Yesterday. Inspired for what? Music?
Anything, just anything creative.
Yesterday, I was in the studio, and I like it when people want to pay me to work, because I need to pay my bills. So I got paid to write and record a song yesterday at Revolver, and that's great. And then anytime Harry Gregson Williams calls me to come and hang with him, I'm so inspired by his talent. And he's like a modern day Mozart, and also like a punk rocker Mozart. And so I really get inspired by him every single day. And then Michael Blue is very talented at writing and recording songs, and he's got the best gear. So I like having a room at Revolver and working with him there. And then my wife and kids inspire me very much, and my in-laws, and and I like hanging out with them. And I have a modern relationship with my wife, and so it's really cool. We can't hurt each other. It's very open and modern, so it's cool. So I'm grateful for that, and that inspires me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I love the ocean. I try to go every day to the ocean.
You go surfing every day?
Not surfing every day, but I go and bring a guitar or a laptop. Like the day before yesterday, I brought my laptop and guitar and recorded a solo at Sycamore Canyon in Ventura. And because you can bring mobile rigs and do, with headphones and plug in direct and do tracking. So I like to do that at the ocean or parks.
Something about now that like cleanses your soul, it feels like.
Excuse me?
There's something about the ocean that really cleanses my soul when I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple more questions. What music or genres of music or even people or songs have you been listening to right now of other people's?
When I went to Coachella with Harry Gregson Williams. He brought me out there. He rented a plane and everything and had me go out there. And he rented a yurt. I think it's called a yurt. And we stayed in there, and he had a friend with him. And I brought an amp and a guitar, and we did private backstage at partying and stuff and jamming. But when I went there, I found Jane, this artist from France, by watching her. So it's what I see on stage that really inspires me. Like Bass Nectar really inspired me. The whole dubstep movement and stuff. But right now, I guess since this year, since there's been no gigs or no things, I go on social media, and right now TikTok
I love
is
TikTok.
where I'm hearing great music. So I so many songs from TikTok that are cutting edge, evil, fun music. And so I'm getting my new music from TikTok. Ice Me Out, Bitch from the South.
You should subscribe to our channel.
What?
You should subscribe to our channel. We have all the local music around Ventura County. On our I showed you that video. And what we do is we give them a platform. We're not doing it right now because of the COVID situation. We haven't been doing, we stopped in December, and because it's so rapid right now, we don't want to be we don't want to receive it. We don't want to give it. But we have so much music, and there's so much beautiful fucking music here in our town. And we try to showcase that. So if you ever get a chance,
very cool.
We'll cover on TikTok every so often.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go look. I will.
Cool. Do you binge on that?
But also I do want to say it's my favorite new music is, I'm really into the films that Harry Gregson Williams is doing, and he's doing this movie. Oh, this is Harry, by the way. Harry, this is Tim. Tim, this is Harry. Oh no, he's too kind. So anyway, yeah, his last two movies. There's a movie called Infinite. It's a Paramount Pictures movie. And the music on that's really exciting and rocking and stuff like that. And then he's doing this movie. I'm not playing on it, but I just love to watch it and just get blown away by it. It's called the Last Duel. It's with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and Ridley Scott's directing it. And it's in 1370 France. and I just, the music is insane. I mean, it's so talented, and so I'm really inspired by Harry's music, and I get to see it made firsthand. I get to loiter with me and the dog, get to watch him do it. So I'm very inspired by Harry, probably more than any musician in the world, and he happens to be my mate, so I'm lucky. But yeah, anything like singing and hip hop kind of stuff, any kind of music is TikTok, you know.
Nice. Is there is there anything that you have coming up that you would like to talk about, or that you have like? Are you doing any recording for yourself personally? Do you plan on doing any Zoom performances, or do you have anything that you'd like to promote?
Well, I have mu- basically people pay me to do things, and that when I'm paid to do the work that I do, I'd like, that's the stuff that is going to be released. And so a couple of days ago, or yesterday actually, we finished a song with they named it Distefano Mazza, um, and it's all happening so fast I have to remember. And then this guy Roland Banks, um, at Revolver, we've been working with him, and so exactly how he's going to release it and stuff, we still have to figure that out. And but in terms of my solo stuff, I have a bunch of stuff that um, I guess I've written to loops and stuff like that, but I don't know if I want to. Like I keep changing my mind. I keep changing my mind about, do I want to just be an acoustic artist? Do I want to, spin loops that repeat themselves and sing and write over it? Do I want, so I guess I'm leaning towards doing a little bit of everything, and maybe making an EP, but who buys EPs anymore? Like I don't really I don't have any desire like, oh, I need to do this, or I wish it was this. I just want to be able to pay my bills and be at peace and get inspired by talent. And I just keep it pretty simple.
Yeah.
So, but I would love gigs. I mean, I love gigs, going to festivals. I loved having a residency at Harvell's in Santa Monica every Wednesday. That was just getting started, and it got shut down from COVID. So I don't know if we're ever going to be, I mean, able to go exactly back to, going to Disneyland and going in the Haunted Mansion and being in that elevator in that room and everybody going down packed together. And I mean, I liked all that kind of stuff, and going to concerts and being in sardine can with people and,
Excuse me.
yeah. But I don't know. Like I used to, with Harry, we used to do this thing called hot yoga. And the other day I texted him, I miss hot yoga. And he said, I don't think it's going to happen anytime this year. And that's really bummer, because it's like, we'd go in this room and it'd be really hot and you do yoga together. And now it's like yuck. Everything's yuck because of this virus. And so
I miss
I've
that
just,
so much. I love hot yoga, man.
yeah. So
Something about it that
that was,
opens up your brain, or
yeah.
uh,
Yeah. So concerts, gigs, hot yoga, those are things that I guess this virus took away from my life, and it took away financially from me being able to make money with live gigs too. So, and but I'm not like traumatized. I'm just accepting it and doing studio stuff now. And I'm really lucky that I hooked up at Revolver and working out of there and producing. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for Harry Gregson Williams when he lets me squeak on his films, and yeah, that's about it.
well, I want to say thank you so much. Um, Thank you for allowing me to be um, a friend. Um,
Well, thanks, Tim.
I really appreciate it, and I'm so happy. you were involved with our music awards and you got some shine.
Yeah, thank you for the Lifetime Achievement Award. That's huge.
And I mean, something you deserve. And you know, we love you up
Oh,
here
thanks,
in
Tim.
our town, and
I love you too. I love Ventura County. That's where I want a home, you know.
be safe and be careful, and you know, that's it, man.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much.
Bless you, brother. And I'm looking forward to hanging with you soon. And then the next time you're able to throw an award show, please invite me again. I want to come and
I
eat
will.
your good food and party with you.
That's we're gonna actually do a video, a cinematic video for
Oh,
last year, because
okay.
they kept on moving the goalposts. Like we thought it was gonna be open because of who we talked to certain people in certain
Yeah.
positions, and we're like, yeah, it's gonna be this. And so at this moment, we're just gonna make a cinematic video with using the Ventura Theater, and then using different spots in Ventura County, the cross in Ventura, the pier. And we are also going to go to Scary Dairy in Camarillo. I'm not sure if you've been there, but just all over, just spots all
Very cool.
performing, and then doing the award show at the theater. Of course, all safe and social distance. Everything.
That sounds really cool. Well, if
When it
I
comes
can do
out
anything to
outside,
help, I'm always here. And, I'm in Camarillo by the farm. So if you want any farm shots or grove shots, that's where I'm at.
all right, man. We appreciate you. God bless
I
you.
appreciate you too. God bless you too. Thank you, Tim.
Have a good one.
Okay, you too. Okay, bye bye.